James chapter 7, verse 7 says, "Thus he showed me, and behold, the Lord stood upon a wall made by a plumb line, with a plumb line in his hand. And the Lord said unto me, Amos, what seest thou? And I said, a plumb line. Then said the Lord, Behold, I will set a plumb line in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not again pass by them any more. And the high places of Isaac, which shall be desolate, and the sanctuaries of Israel shall be laid waste, and I will rise against the house of Jeroboam with the sword." Now, those of you who don't know, now, the only reason I know what a plumb line is because somebody told me. I've never used a plumb line. I've never had a plumb line, but I used to watch as my grandfather and uncles did some stuff, and they had a line down there when they would lay the foundation. And I knew enough to know that the foundation had to have a cornerstone. And that cornerstone had to be level, or the rest of the house or the rest of the building was not going to be level. And we have to come into an alignment with God that He's got a plumb line on us. And He's got that plumb line to see if you're straight or if you're not straight. And that plumb line is going to be able to tell if you're right or if you're not right. That if you're in Jesus or if you're not in Jesus. It's going to be able to tell if you're slipping, if your foundation is beginning to slip away a little bit, or if it's not. I've seen a lot of houses. There's houses in our neighborhood where the builder had been sued and actually went to jail because he didn't build the houses plumb. There was areas in the houses that had, you could walk across the floor and all of a sudden you hit a little ridge in the floor. And you think, well, that's just bad floorboard. No, they said it was because the foundation of how it was laid was not plumb. And it affected the whole house, even up to the second floor. Because we were really interested in getting that house and buying that house. And the guy that was helping us and was looking, he said, no, we don't want to go after that house. He said, there's a hump in the second floor. And it's because the foundation wasn't laid right. The foundation wasn't plumb. It could throw the whole house off. An unplumbed house can fall because there's not a firm foundation from the cornerstone. It's the same thing with our Christian walk. It's the same thing as we are living in Jesus. We've got to build off the foundation of Jesus Christ. We can't build off the foundation of anything else. We've got to build off the foundation of Him crucified, dead, and buried, risen again on the third day, and now sitting on the right hand of God the Father Almighty. And that's the only way that we can build a foundation in Jesus, is by doing that. We just got to trust of who He is and where He was. Pastor Palmer was talking about that this morning. He said, you know what? It goes all the way back to when Jesus was on the cross. He began to do something. He took sin for you so that you wouldn't have to suffer sin anymore. He took sin on His shoulders and He washed it in His blood so that when you decided that you wanted to bow a knee and call upon His name, you shall be saved. And so it's going to go all the way back to the cross. You've got to go all the way back to that salvation experience at that foot of the cross that you went to and gave your life to Jesus. Has it been built on a firm foundation to where you're solid then when everything goes? You can usually tell when people's foundations are firm or not when the storm comes. But see, a storm built on the sand or built on that's not built on a firm foundation is going to fall, or it's going to crumble, or it's going to begin to fall apart, or things are going to begin to happen. And we've got to begin to be built on a firm foundation so that when the storm comes, it stands strong. That when the old big bad wolf comes and says, I'm going to huff and I'm going to puff and I'm going to blow your house down, it's built with good firm foundation with brick and mortar, and he can't blow it down. The vision is of a plumb line, a line with a plummet at the end of it, with such as masons and bricklayers use to run up a wall by, that they may work it straight and true and by rule. Here's our rule. Here's our plumb line. It's all with this stuff. It's all with what's in this book that we got to live our life by. This is the plumb line that we've got to live by. This is what we've got to begin to walk by. This is what we've got to live by. We've got to begin to stand on it. We've got to begin to devour it. We've got to begin to eat it. We've got to begin to live it. We've got to begin to breathe it. We've got to begin to allow Jesus to work in us through His Word. If you've got the Word in you, when a storm comes, you're going to be able to stand upon that Word and it's going to keep you firm. But when you don't have the Word in you, and you're not founded on the Word of God, and you're not living in the Word of God, and you're not allowing the Word of God to change you, you're not allowing, last night we talked about renewing our minds on the Word. You got to begin to get it inside you. You got to let it be a part of you. You got to get it in your mind, then get it into your heart, and let it be a firm foundation for you. Because, folks, storms of life are going to come. If you hadn't had a storm in a while, guess what? It's getting ready to come. There was a storm on the way over here, and you know, we get alerts all the time on our phones. It's so sickening. Sometimes in the middle of the night, all of a sudden your phone starts screaming. You fall out of bed and you're just trying to figure out what it is, and it's just they're telling you that there's a storm coming. I mean, the first time I ever did that, we about lost our mind. Our hearts were beating. We thought somebody broke in the house. We didn't know what was going on. But you know what? When you're secure in Jesus, when a storm comes, you're standing firm. And you know, it was kind of, one night I remember we lived in a trailer. We lived in a mansion on a hill over in Maysville. Literal mansion on a hill. And the only reason why it was a mansion on a hill because on the side of that 16 by 8 trailer, it was a mansion trailer. And it was a mansion on a hill. We had a thing. And one night it was storming. I mean, it was storming bad. The church was down there, and Janice said, we need to go down to the basement of the church. And I said, well, I don't want to go out in that. And we kind of went back and forth a little bit, and all of a sudden a thing went by. And I just want to show you, I'm not saying that she had faith, I didn't have faith, or I had faith and she didn't have faith. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying sometimes you gotta trust the foundation that you're on. Now I'm going to take this to the trailer. I'm not going to take this to what we were believing in Jesus or what we were reading right. I just know that me and another guy went out there and we tied that trailer down. I mean, we spent painstakingly hours of grinding these things in the ground and running the pole, the thing down to it. That I knew that thing had a good, firm, strong hold on it. Because sometimes we look at things and we don't realize that there's a foundation there. Sometimes you don't know how strong you really are until the storm comes. You don't know how strong you are until the situation happens in your life. And sometimes you just got to realize that Israel was a wall. It was a strong wall which God himself had reared as a bulwark and a wall of defense to his sanctuary which he set up among them. The Jewish church says, I am a wall. This was a wall made by a plumb line, very exact, very firm. So happy was its constitution, so well compacted, everything so well ordered according to the model, it had long stood fast as a wall of brass. You've got to understand the foundation that we have. Fresh Encounter Ministries is built on a firm foundation of Jesus Christ. I don't want to do anything that's not Jesus. I don't want to do anything that's not hearing the Father say it first and doing what He's having us to do. And we got to begin to live that way. You got to begin to walk that way. If you're going to buy something, sometimes you just need to go and say, Lord, do I need to buy this? If you're going to do something, you say, Lord, do I need to do this? And you're thinking, well, you know, why would you do that? And you're thinking, because